Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Future Midwife. Today I am going to take the topic fertilization and implantation. Fertilization and implantation are the critical event in the reproductive process. In this process, the sperm and ovum united to form a zygote. This zygote again reaches to the fallopian tubule. So here at the ampulla of the fallopian tube there is fertilization occurs. So after the fertilization, the zygote will travel to the uterus and there it is implanted. Fertilization is the process which takes place by means of sexual reproduction. So, in this sexual reproduction, thousands of sperms are ejaculated and also inseminated in the female vagina. So, from the female vagina, the sperm have the capacity to motile and which reach to the fallopian tube. From the thousands of sperms, only very few sperms will be reached to the fallopian tube. At the same time, ovulation takes place and the ovum will be captured by the fimbriae and which also reaches to the fallopian tube. So usually inside the fallopian tube, the region of the ampulla, there is fertilization takes place. So both the sperm and ovum has its own vitality duration. The sperm has vitality around 48 to 72 hours, whereas the ovum has 24 to 48 hours. So within these hours, the fertilization need to be takes place. As I said you just before, the sperm having a vitality around 48 to 72 hours. So during coitus, the sperm will be ejaculated and inseminated in the vagina, which reaches to the fallopian tube. And suppose if the sperm has released and waited in the fallopian tube around 48 to 72 hours. So during that time, the ovulation also need to be happen. So the weighted sperm will be reach up to the ampulla of the fallopian tube. So by the time the ovum also travel and reach to the fallopian tube, then there the union of sperm and ovum takes place. After fertilization, the zygote undergoes cell division and it multiplies and also it exchanges the genetic material and later it travels day by day and it reaches to the lining of the uterus at the day of 5. Once it reaches to the inner lining of the uterus, which get attached into the endometrium, which is called implantation. So, after implantation, the embryonic and fetal development starts. If the union of X and Y chromosome occurs, the sex of the baby will be male. At the same time, the union of X and X chromosome, the sex of the baby will be female. In short, father is responsible for the determination of the sex of the child because the father has XY chromosome whereas mother has only XX chromosome. Next, I will explain about the fertilization process. The fertilization process in human takes place in several stages involving both the chemical and physical events. The different stages of fertilization are acrosomal reaction, cortical reaction, sperm entry, karyogamy and activation of egg. First we will see about acrosomal reaction. The sperm incapacitation undergoes acrosomal reaction and release certain chemicals known as sperm lysine present in the acrosome. Due to the acrosomal reaction, the plasma membrane of the secondary oocytes and the sperm are fused together so that contents of the sperm can enter. When the plasma membrane of the sperm binds with that of the secondary oocyte, the plasma membrane of the oocyte depolarizes. This prevents polyspermy. Calcium ions play a significant role in the acrosomal reaction. The main factors essential for acrosomal reaction are optimum pH, temperature, calcium and magnesium concentration. Next we will see about the cortical reaction. Soon after the fusion of the plasma membrane, the oocyte shows cortical reaction. Cortical granules found under the plasma membrane of the oocyte. which fuse with the plasma membrane and release cortical enzyme between the zona pellucida and plasma membrane. The zona pellucida is hardened by the cortical enzyme that prevent the entry of sperm. Next, I will explain about sperm entry. A projection known as cone of reception is formed by the secondary oocyte at the point of sperm contact. This cone of reception receives the sperm. Next, we will see what you mean by karyogamy. After the entry of the sperm, the suspended second meiotic division is completed by the secondary oocytes. This gives rise to a haploid ovum and a second polar body. The head of the sperm containing the nucleus detaches from the entire sperm and is known as a male pronucleus. The tail and the second polar body degenerates. The nucleus of the ovum is known as female pronuclei. The male and female pronuclei fuse and their nuclear membranes degenerate. The fusion of chromosomes of male and female gametes is called karyogamy. The ovum is now fertilized and is known as a zygote. After that, there will be activation of egg. The entry of sperm triggers the metabolism in the zygote. Consequently, protein synthesis and cellular respiration increase. These are the processes which involve in the fertilization of the gametes. So, if we say about the fertilization and if we describe about the fertilization, we think it is a simple process. But now you understood the fertilization include many physical and chemical process. Once it completed, then only the fertilization takes place. Next, I will explain about the stages of implantation. The stages of implantation include hatching, adaptation, apposition, adhesion, and inversion. First, we'll see about hatching. In this stage, zona pellucida get dissolved to let the blastocyst free of this transparent layer and is replaced by tropoblastic cells. Next is the adaptation. In this stage, the blastocyst slowly rolls and aligns properly to the endometrial epithelium of the uterus. Next is apposition. In this stage, there is formation of loose connection between the blastocyst and endometrium of the uterus. Next, we'll see about adhesion. When blastocyst comes in contact with the endometrial lining, the local stomal edema appears in the endometrium. This is the first sign of decidual cell reaction. In this decidual cell reaction, permeability of blood vessels and wall of endometrium increases. Fibroblasts become larger and get converted into glycogen-filled cells. So last is the inversion. The trophoblast, that is the outer lining of the blastocyst, start making finger-like projections and these penetrate into the endometrium, which gets deeper into the lining. These projections are called chorionic villi. Endometrium get disrupted and the chorionic villi get penetrated. This penetration goes on till it gets in contact with the maternal blood. After that, the actual connection is formed. Once the chorionic villi have penetrated to the maternal tissue, we say implantation has occurs. So these are the stages of implantation. Here we can wind up our today's video. So the next video I will explain about the embryonic and fetal development. Till that, take care. Bye bye.